Hello, this is Becca from Willow Hill Designs, and welcome. Today we'll be looking at prompt number 12 for the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, Volume 8, Gathered Things project. Prompt number 12 is Lacey bits, and because this is the 12th block that I'm working on, I got very I guess over ambitious in the beginning of this project and used a few of my little block canvases for the same prompt. So I had to consolidate a little bit here so that from here on out I can continue with just one block per prompt. So, excuse me, so for Lacey bits, I put Lacey bits on with my prompt number 11 block, which was prompt number 11 was favorite color, and you could do whatever you chose to do with that. So I chose to do a little patchwork of red and white. So this is prompt number 11 here, all of this and even this background. This was all prompt number 11. And so in order to catch up, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Hopefully that's a little bit better. So for prompt number 12, I thought I would add it to my prompt number 11 block, and this will catch me up, and now from now forward, I can just put one prompt per little canvas that I'm working on. So for Lacey bits, I chose to add some lace to two portions of this little block here, and the lace that I've used is this lace, which is from a friend in England. She sent this to me, I think it was at Christmas time last year, and I absolutely love it. I just have this little piece left. I've used it quite a bit. It's so very pretty. So this kind of little triangular shape right here, I used two portions of that on this piece. And the first one is right over here on the red and white patchwork. And I did the same thing, but just kind of faced that little triangular portion. You can probably see it a little bit better here. There's kind of a little triangular portion that extends off. So for the red, I put it this way, and down here, I put it this way, just turned it around. So I added both of those little pieces of lace on here, just with an invisible stitch. And then I chose to do some French knots in the centers of these little flowers. And the reason that I chose pink, I chose this, this is Wonderfill number 8 pearl cotton, and this is really a very bright colored pink. I don't usually use these bright colors, but I thought that, just pop my thimble in there, this fabric reads almost as a pink color, even though it's red and white. It does kind of have a pink cast to it, not so much on camera, but when looking at it in real life, it does seem to kind of almost give you a feel of a pink fabric. So I decided to use pink on these little centers of these flowers. And then I just added a tiny bit of green, again, pearl cotton. This is a variegated, and I've just wound it around an old Gutermann spool of thread. I think, yeah, this is Gutermann, but this is a variegated thread, and I just did little tiny stitches, little straight stitches, kind of going around these centers, if you can see that, here and here, just to kind of add a little bit of extra color on there. And then I love buttons, absolutely love them, and I have been adding buttons to my little blocks here and there. on this quilt. And so I wanted to bring, again, that pink in. I love the combo here of the pink and the red, the white, and this green. It almost makes me think of the strawberry shortcake dolls that our daughters had when they were little. So I thought I would bring some pink buttons in, and these are Lori Holt buttons. This is my Lori Holt button box. I think she calls them Lori Holt's cute little buttons. I think that's what they're called. So all of her buttons are in here. These are all Lori Holt, except for these little striped blocks, which I love. I think they're interesting, might be interesting at some point, but all of these are Lori Holt's buttons. And they go down to really teeny tiny ones, which I love. I love the little ones. So that's what I chose to put on here. And these are some tilde buttons that I keep in these little boxes. These are little Beatrix Potter boxes. And our daughters were on a field trip and got these for me, knowing that I love Beatrix Potter. So these are not kept in with my other buttons. These are just kept in this box separately. So I thought the Lori Holt buttons were just a perfect little place for these on here. And then lastly, I decided to add a little word. I've been adding words to these little blocks here and there. This one has tiny seeds on it. And this one I decided to put lace, and I thought that was appropriate because I've added some lacy bits to this. And I decided to look back through all of my blocks that I've made so far. And I noticed that I have lace on quite a bit of them, but I thought, can I add lace somewhere else? So I added a piece of lace to this block. This was just a sort of a half circle here out of this fabric, and I decided to put this piece of lace over that. And excuse me, that was taken from this doily, which I love, this lace doily. It's so pretty. So I thought that kind of gave an interesting texture to this side of this little block. You'll have to excuse me. I'm sorry, my allergies are a little wacky today. And I'll show all of my blocks. I have new subscribers, a lot of them, and so I thought I'll show all of the blocks and show how I put lace on almost all of the blocks and didn't even realize it just looking back through. So this one was one of the ones that I just added the lace to. That didn't have any lace on it, but this little block has lace on it right here. And this little block also has lace on it up here and here. These are pieces of lace. And this is a larger piece on this little block. And this little block, I kind of created some lace on here with a needle and thread. This one, no. Unless you would consider this kind of a lace. I don't know. This is more of a trim on a doily. But this one has lace. These are pieces of lace that were cut out of a motif and put on here. And I don't know if you can see it, but this is lace up here in this corner and here and here and here. So there's lace on all four corners of this, and this was one of the prompts that was a piece of a vintage quilt. This one doesn't really have lace unless you would consider this lace. It's a kind of a lacy trim. That one I didn't add lace to, but this is a piece of a lace doily. So I would consider that lace. And again, here I've added a word on this little block. Has lace, little motifs from lace on it. Hopefully they're coming through. These are lacy doilies that are on that block. Here again is that lacy doily on this block. And I think this is probably the only block that I don't really have lace on, unless you would consider this a lacy trim. But really almost all 12 of the blocks have lace on them, which I was really surprised, because I thought, oh, I'll go back through and scatter some lacy bits on some of the other blocks, and truthfully most of them had lace on them, and the few that don't, I don't think I will cover them up or cover up what's on them to add some lace. But I have been so anxious. I just love all of these little blocks, little canvases, and I truly cannot wait to put them together and see what they look like. I really, but I know that I have to wait until they're all finished. I'll just lay them out, some of them, and see if we can kind of get an idea of maybe what this little quilt will look like. But I know I have to wait until they're all finished to sort of have an idea of where each one should go. But I'm just loving looking at each one of them. Let's see if we can move this up just a tiny bit more, and let's put this guy over here. Is that kind of in the frame? How about that? I'll bring this one over. Maybe we can do that. And kind of get an idea of what this will all look like. I mean, I don't know really where I'll put them. They can certainly be moved around, but I'm kind of getting a feel for it and where things might go. Not quite sure. We'll just have to see. Maybe this blue one would go here. I mean, that will really be the fun of it, is to look and see where everything will go. I think the only thing that is keeping me from being really tempted to start putting some of these together is that I'm quilting on my son's wedding quilt, which is probably 2/3 done, but also I'm working on the Jane Austen Block of the Month quilt, which is the 250th celebration of the anniversary of her birthday, December 16th, 1775 to December 16th this year will be 250 years. And she's one of my favorite authors. So, and actually I'll give you a little peek of those blocks at the very end. I guess that would be okay, because that's making me behave and not try to put these together. And also I thought I would share that I have 2 of these border strips that will go around these little blocks. Once the handmade blocks or the hand-pieced blocks from some wonderful little quilter, this will be border strips. So I have 2 of those done. I have 2 border strips done, and I'm working on the 3rd one. This one's just barely started. And then I just have the last one to do. So thank goodness I'm keeping up in that sense. But these will go around the quilt as well. as the little handmade blocks from that unknown quilter that I absolutely love. So this has been fun, and I'm happy to have now caught up where I have 12 blocks with 12 prompts, and going forward I will just have be able to start prompt number 13 and do each of the rest until we finish with the 20 prompts. So these have just been so much fun. I can't even tell you how much I've enjoyed it. So easy to work on, and I think that's probably why I moved ahead, because they were just so much fun to to work on. I got carried away, but I'll just quickly share. Hopefully no one will mind. These are my Jane Austen quilt blocks. This is the second grouping of blocks that we're on, and I'm just enjoying this because I love all of her novels. And the quilt was designed by Lori Holt, but I'll just share quickly. This is something that's been keeping me from being too tempted to put those blocks together. So this is one, and this block, all four of these different color versions, this is the Kent block. And this is on a fabric called Correspondence. So this is Jane's writing in the background, correspondence to her sister, and so on. So these are some of the colors that I've chosen to add to the quilt. The center block is done, and 4 of the first blocks, the Hampshire blocks, are done. These edges haven't been turned yet. So this is the other color. I think I did turn one of them. I was asked to show how to stitch that. Yes, this one is this little piece here. These edges are turned. Actually, these two. Oh, 3. 3 are turned. I think I left this one for demonstration purposes. But so if you are doing that quilt, the Jane Austen anniversary, 250th anniversary quilt, you can check out my videos. I'm doing a little series on it, and enjoying it thoroughly. I don't know, really. I don't know what I would do without stitching. Stitching truly, to use that saying, I hope it doesn't sound cliche, but sewing, stitching truly feeds my soul, whether it's on the sewing machine or by hand. It just feeds my soul. I love it. So anyway, I'll just leave you with this. This is my little, bring it up close. This is prompt number 12, applied to prompt number 11. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I'm wishing you many blessings. Bye for now.